Hi everybody, Mark Allen, Ed in the Clouds here, and this is a presentation entitled Share the Love, which is about building communication channels inside and outside your school or organization. Apologies if I make some mistakes along the way. I've got to do this in one take because I'm really pressed for time. I'll do my best to keep to the 5-minute deadline, but those who know me will know that's quite a tall ask. Anyway, you can get this presentation anytime using the address shown at the bottom of this slide, and I will repeat that at the end. Okay, those of you who know me will also know that I'm a Google certified teacher and apps certified trainer, and that means that I tend to concentrate on Google tools, but none of this I think is Google specific. It's all about an approach which would work just as well with other environments that allow you to do the same sorts of things. So I want to start by thinking about any collection of people, in fact, any organization, and in particular any school. And I'm going to concentrate on the tiny little rural primary school where I'm a governor and have been for the last 8 years. And when we look at that school, and in fact I think any human endeavor, it's made up of 4 constituent parts, or at least 4 constituent parts. The people in it, the most important ingredient, the information that those people need to exchange with each other, the tools and technology that they use in order to do that, and then the processes which arise around that need. So looking at a small rural primary school, these are the stakeholder groups that I could immediately think of. In fact, I sometimes wonder if we have more stakeholder groups than we do students, but that's by the by. You've got the people in the organisation who are really important, the office, and then the people who think they're important, the head teacher, and all the way down. And then people like me come along and say, what about the outside world? We should be including the outside world, businesses, experts all over the world, and so on. Then all of these people need to exchange information with each other. So there are a large number of types of information which can be exchanged. Then we use all kinds of technology for doing that. I'm sorry if I'm rushing through this, but you can go back and look at it at your leisure. And the problem is that when you have situations like this, and you allow humans to devise processes for the transfer of that information from one group to another, you end up with this kind of spaghetti, which makes absolute sense to human beings in the middle of it, but from the outside can look a little chaotic. That black line, for instance, is that the head teacher has a word with the person in the office and says, could you put something in the school calendar so that it appears on the website and parents get to see it? And that can be a tortuous process if it's allowed to just happen the way it always has. Luckily, though, there is another way to do this. And in my case, that tends to revolve, as I said, around the use of Google Apps for Education. But that's not a given. You could use any other tool. Other tools do exist. And what that means is that you can hit upon a way of presenting the information that's necessary for those various stakeholder groups. And in my way of working, the site, building the website, becomes that map which allows those people to get at the relevant types of information. So don't just put up with the kind of standard websites which are provided out of the box with these various tools. Start to consider the needs of your various stakeholder groups and make sure you're channeling the right sort of information. So if I was doing a workshop, I might well have quite a lot of Twitter stuff going in there as well as a blog, because it needs to be a dynamically evolving thing. If I was building, for instance, a website for a primary school, it might well be some mix of information and navigation, the Ofsted required elements of the website, plus some fresh information that's going to keep it new every time somebody comes to it. If you've got a static brochure, people won't visit you a second time. Same thing goes for what you might put up in the staff room. This, in fact, is put up on a 50-inch plasma in one particular school, giving staff everything they need to know to start their day. In terms of the kids in school, we could be thinking about VLE replacements. After all, the VLEs often have a sort of 90s legacy to them, which we could challenge now and group together the tools and applications that the kids need in a way that is meaningful and attractive to them. And that doesn't mean that you need to stick with the traditional look and feel. If you wanted to, for instance, you could build sites that borrow other stylistic guidelines. No prizes for guessing what drove this. And that, I don't know about you, but that's beginning to look a little old-fashioned to me these days. So you might want to move to other design guidelines. I really like the Windows 8 interface, and I think Microsoft did you a success with something like this. But anyway, it's in your hands. You can use the tools in order to put together the information, the navigation that these various communities that you deal with and your school deals with in a front end that makes absolute sense for you. And in doing so, you can share the love. Thanks very much. And you can check this presentation out using that short code at the bottom here. Thank you. Bye-bye.